Okay, so welcome to our second episode of our Scarborough Cricket podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at fast bowling. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest for today with some slightly epic music, if possible. So, today, he has had 9 tests for England with a best of 5 for 38, and he's had more first-class wickets than there's been episodes of The Simpsons. Welcome. It's Graham Onions. Thank you, Graham, for having us on today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we're going to start with just a few questions, just to get a bit of an introduction before we move on to our more specific technical side. So firstly, when you were in the England cricket team, who was the best DJ?
Well, the best DJ in the England. Good question. I think generally the physio would look after that. So you probably wouldn't know his name, but his name was Mark Saxby. He was the person that would come in. He would already be there fixing our drinks and everything. So he would be the man. I know you probably want to hear Kevin Peterson or something like that.
Shout out to DJ Saxophone.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, second one. Non-cricket question, okay? You're driving. Someone does you a favour. How do you acknowledge that? Do you nod? Do you give him the hand, the flash? How do you go about it?
Just little hand up.
Little hand, yeah, I agree. I think the flash is too aggressive, I reckon.
Thanks. And if I do it and they don't say thank you to me, then we'll not go down that way. Actually,
and then you go, oh, no, thanks, no worries. I do that when people hold doors open. You know, when you hold the door open, they just go through. Oh yeah, no worries. I'll just stand here, shall I?
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, thanks.
Spot on. And number 3, we're going to exclude Lancashire and Durham because of potential bias. Where are you getting your best tea or lunch in county cricket?
Oh, what a question. Well, Lords is easily the best. I mean,
now I can actually, I've had the great opportunity of actually playing there a few times and can back up that opinion that it is unbelievable.
I mean, you're talking professional chefs, 3-course meal. You would easily spend. I'd easily spend £50 of my own money, which is saying a lot, really, from the tightest man in the world, from the northeast. That it is worth. You get prawns to start, you get soup, then you get a main course, then you get dessert, and it is amazing. It's fairly obvious that because obviously Lords is just a special place. If it wasn't Lords, it would be Edgbaston. They do very, very good food as well.
Strong. Especially as an opening bowler, you just got to pray you're bowling first there, haven't you? So you can actually fill your boots. I remember I got a chance to play there when I was 15, and for me it was when you go into the dining room, there was just a fridge full of Powerades and Fantas and Cokes and stuff. I think for me that was revolutionary. I'd never seen anything like it.
The funny thing with that, actually, is a funny story with that, is I remember doing that one year with Durham. And Durham notoriously didn't have loads of money. We had a really, really good sign, but on a relatively tight budget. And the lads raided the fridge and they drank everything within a day. And then the club got like a massive bill for it after the 4 days. And we all had to stump up loads of money.
The last thing you want to have to do is fulfill the stereotypes of the North coming and down to the North and plundering.
Oh dear.
Excellent. So we're going to be looking at some kind of ways in which we can improve our fast bowling, especially for the juniors in our academy. And for just to start off with, I know it's quite a broad question, but in terms of, if you are looking at developing your seam bowling, what do you think? What should be the 2 or 3 real core concepts which you should build kind of the rest of your skills on? Like without these skills or concepts, you can't necessarily move on to that next level of development. What should you be looking at developing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I like to try and to break down fast bowling, especially to 3. It can go into spin bowling too. If there's people listening out there, try and break it down to 3 sections. You've got obviously your run up, which is vitally important. If you get your run up all wrong, you're running too fast or too slow, and you're not in control. Into your back foot contact, which is stage 2. So back foot contact is just before you're going to release the ball. You're in control of what you're doing. And then after that, you've got your follow through. 3 stages for me, which even, at 38, retiring last year, was the 3 stages for me. That was the most important. Very much having a good, strong run up, be in control at the crease just before you're going to release the ball, and then follow through. Those will give you the best opportunity to A, bowl fast, B, put the ball in the right area as consistently as you possibly can. Now, you could have two of those things, but if you don't have the right run up, then obviously that becomes some kind of issues. If you've got a lovely run up, but a lot of young kids or girls out there don't have the strength at the crease, so you can have a lovely run up without the strength. And then, of course, a lot of people neglect the follow through. So for me, once you become a good bowler and a more consistent bowler, you're very much tying those three things together to give yourself the best opportunity to get batters out, which is what we want to try and do.
And brilliant, and thank you. And I think, like you said, with that as well, that's transferable to kind of any bowler, any action. Obviously, we see a wide range of actions. There isn't this kind of superb textbook way necessarily, but those kind of concepts are transferable to a wide range of it. I'd just like to pick up on the idea of the run-up. So for someone who probably, if I came to bowl, I'd probably do that thing where you turn around and do your run backwards and then come back again. So obviously I've not much idea on this, but what are you looking for in run-up? Are you looking to accelerate into the crease? Are you looking to keep a consistent pace through along? What would kind of give you the best chance in that respect?
Yeah, once again, a really good question, and a lot of people kind of get this wrong. And one of the best drills really to do this is, you can either have I played with somebody like Shoaib Akhtar who would literally run from the side screen, and now that was a bowled express pace, like as fast as you've seen, and that was a little bit for sure the run up, but ultimately it got him to a position that he could bowl quick. I played with somebody, Simon Jones, who was literally 10 steps, and he would rock back and he would bowl almost as quick as Shoaib Akhtar. Now they're two different skills. If I was coaching a young boy or girl, I would very much just put a cone down on the floor and set off. Make sure you're hitting it with your left foot or your right foot, and get somebody. Basically, whenever you feel comfortable to bowl, run in and just let the ball go. It doesn't matter where the ball's going, and get somebody to put a cone where the front foot is. And it's a really good drill. Obviously, sometimes you might feel as though like you're running further, you're running less. But over time, what you'll do is you'll find a real takeoff point and a landing point that is consistent. And then all of a sudden, that's what I would class as what your run-up would be.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned about how you got Simon Jones, you got Shoaib Akhtar, who are well known for bowling absolute gas, and like I said, they've gone about it in different ways. Now, especially with a young person and a young cricketer seeing bowlers' development, we often look at that trade-off necessarily between pace and accuracy, and whether there is a trade-off, and two, is it imperative? Is it important to develop necessarily one before the other? I mean, obviously in England, you've still got someone like Darren Stevens who can take 5 wickets in innings bowling 70 mile an hour. So where do we look in? Where do we kind of emphasize our skill development there?
Yeah, I mean, for example, if I had Shoaib Akhtar, a 20-year-old, I wouldn't necessarily coach him to bowl a line of length that Darren Stevens would bowl, for example. I think if you can get somebody that can bowl fast, let him bowl fast, because it's a skill, it's an art. It'll get you, without a doubt, it'll get you to the next level. It won't get you necessarily all the way, but it'll certainly give you the best opportunity to excel, really, I would say. So it's one thing I'm very, very passionate about. If you've got the ability to bowl fast, bowl fast. It's not easy, it's hard work. You'll have a lot of discomforts and pains along the way, but bowl quick. Then that comes with getting your game to the next level, is very much bowling quick, but being in control, which brings me on to the next section of being a professional cricketer. And a lot of work that I'm here at Lancashire here, as you can see in the background, is hitting a good length. Now, what is a good length? Simple drill would be to put a cone on top of off stump or a target, or marking out from the crease line, from the stumps outwards of 6 steps. If you can bowl quick and hit the top of off stump, you will not go far wrong at all. You'll be getting a lot of good players out. The problem that you've got that comes with it is people try to bowl fast and their lines and the length change, and there's no reason why it should take as long as 28, 29-year-old, but there is a certain reason why it takes that long, because it's not an easy skill to kind of master, really.
Perfect, thank you. And obviously, like, it's more aesthetically pleasing when someone's bowling fast. And as a keeper, I love standing back, 20 yards on the ring and whatnot, and taking it around my head. But is there any, and a lot of pace is, to do with like physique and body makeup, and
yeah,
and we're looking at and different types of muscles and fibers and stuff. But is there any drills which you like, relatively simple drills that anyone can do, which might give us an extra 2 or 3 miles per hour on our bowling?
Yeah, I mean, some fairly simple ones would be hop and hold drills. Hopping over the top of cones. And it's quite hard to obviously demonstrate this over a podcast. But getting stability in your back leg, and then really trying to get a bit of length for when you're gonna deliver the ball. Of landing on your back leg and then driving forward and getting your head and your shoulders and your chest towards your target as much as you can. The tricky part of getting younger kids to do that is that they haven't got that physical strength to be able to, have that pressure on their body and on their spine, especially to be able to get the ball to go forward. What you see is you see a lot of kids. Well, I'm sure if you're listening, rhythm's the most important thing. People try and look for rhythm, or they try and force the ball. What you'll do there is you'll end up falling to the side, and you'll just try too hard. When I think about rhythm, and the best I've bowled is that I've had momentum through me run up, I've landed, and I've gave myself a split second, and I've exploded through the crease. Obviously, if you can get a band like around your waist and get somebody behind you that can just pull you back a little bit, you've got to fight to push forward. It's a really good drill. It's a good way, because as soon as you take that band off you, you'll almost like a coiled spring, you'll fly through the crease, and it'll help you to bowl quick as well.
Perfect. Now, obviously, I want to ask. We're going to move the next question. Looking at we see a shift now in the coverage and stuff we see from looking at kind of shift from hitting the top of off 4-day, 5-day cricket, and we're looking at 1-day 2020 cricket, where bowlers and batsmen are becoming much more necessarily dynamic in what they can do. As a bowler, is this shifting focus in development at a young age? Should it be something that's being talked about, or should it really just be focusing on hitting that line and length, and then worrying about that stuff after, kind of once you've got those fundamentals down?
Yeah, it's changed massively. The game has developed hugely. I think without a doubt, if I was a aspiring young quick bowler, I would be doing a lot of white ball skills. As an old guy like me, I love red ball cricket. I love test match cricket. I love 4-day cricket. I love to test myself against the best players in the long form of the game. But as a coach, you've got to understand that whichever way you want to look at it, there's a lot of white ball cricket and a lot of short formats of the game going around the world at the moment. You see IPLs, you see the 100 ball coming in this year. We've got lots of opportunities really for aspiring young cricketers to go out there and to make it as cricketers, really. And if you've got any kind of desire and any kind of love of being a professional sportsman, which is an amazing career, I've been lucky enough to do it for 20 odd years, do it, and give it your best shot. Ultimately, people get mistaken by, I can bowl a half decent Yorker, I can bowl a half decent length ball. You've still got to be very, very good and be ruthless and relentless, really. On if you want to hit length, you hit length, top of off stump, and if you want to bowl a good Yorker, dedicate a lot of time towards bowling a good Yorker.
Perfect, thank you. I've just got a couple. Wants to know what made you get into cricket in the first place, and kind of why you found it really interesting, and how you kind of progressed through to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Joe, I just loved the idea of playing in team sports. That's how I started. I very much started. I played a lot of sports, and I always say to every kid really is, and I say to my children is play as much sport as you can. Get stuck in with your schoolwork. Very, very important. But also, I played a lot of badminton, and my badminton gear would get put in the cupboard when it was cricket season. As soon as September finished, I put my cricket stuff away and I get my badminton kit out, and I just thought it was refreshing. It was great. I loved cricket so much purely because I could play in a team sport. When I played badminton, I was more of a singles player. I didn't have the same enjoyment, although actually, if I was potentially better at badminton, I had a great knack of just racket sports. Really, I had a good hand-eye coordination, but the enjoyment really was playing in team sports. I didn't realize potentially how good I could be and if I could make a career from it. It just kind of went that way. I just had a coach, Jeff Cook at Durham, who believed in me, and gave me an opportunity. I've got a great story, which is maybe for another time, but where he just said, "Look, would you like to be a professional cricketer one day?" And I was like, "What, me? Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, would you like to be a professional sportsman? Come and join the professional staff." And from then on, I just loved every minute of the journey.
I think that's a huge thing we try and encourage as well. Is that the diversity of sport, these skills and are always transferable. And I think I'm trying to avoid talking about myself too much, but one of the things that I found was that I played a lot of sports when I was younger, but then when I got to about 17, 18, and I'd be down at the Lancs Academy, and I'd be there 3 or 4 times a week and stuff, and everything else I kind of stopped doing my other sports, and I think then that singular focus can often sometimes kind of make it more feel like rather than a hobby, make it feel a bit more like a job necessarily. And so I think trying to keep that diversity of interest and that kind of the range of different sports that they play, I think it's really important. And you can see, like, when you see someone like Owen Morgan, who played in hurling, and you see the kind of strength in the wrists that they can transfer into stuff like sweeping and reverse sweeping. Someone like Josh Butler, I think there's a lot to be said for keeping it basically as varied as possible.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. I think what I've loved when I've been at Scarborough is as soon as cricket finishes, when I went home, cricket would finish and they would get all the hockey goals out and they'd play hockey. I mean, hockey's fantastic, really, for guys who want to practice their sweeping or reverse sweeping, or the ability to basically get into different positions to be able to, rotate strike as a batter, for example, or fielding position, staying nice and low. I just think it's so important, and also it actually. I played football. I was terrible at it. I really wasn't very good at all, but I loved it. I love just kind of getting out there and getting muddy and just getting stuck in and challenging myself against suppose some really good players at school level. But also I knew that I loved cricket, and as soon as I got in that sports hall, I was like, yeah, right. I'm going to give for this next hour and a half. I'm going to try and be as good as I can be and. I wasn't the best. I was quite a late developer, but I certainly gave myself the best opportunity.
Can I ask, are you a Newcastle Sunderland fan?
I'm a black and white, yeah, Newcastle for me sins. But to be fair, I could be Sunderland, and they are rubbish.
Damn miles worse. All right, thanks. And Harrison in year 5 wants to know about how you know which type of swing works best for you as a seam bowler. Is swing something where often naturally it can come with people's actions? Is it something people should look to develop? How can they try and swing the ball more? What could they kind of implement in their training routine to do that?
Yeah, swing is great to have, but once again, you've got to control your length. So you've got to be able to, like, what is a good length? I mean, obviously, you don't want to be trying to swing it if you're bowling it too short. So you want to get the ball up there, pitch it up, and swing it. I didn't realize that I could swing it till I was quite old. I always thought myself as just a guy who could bowl quick, get quite close to the stumps and try and seam it more than anything. And I didn't think that was such a bad thing. If you speak to any batsman of a decent level, you can play swing because it comes out from the hand and you can see it swinging. Any good batter will be able to kind of see this ball swinging. It's the ball that seams it. So The key is really to try and get, the ball in your hand and try and get it to swing. An easy drill is just get the ball in your hand and flick it out your fingers. Try and get that seam so it's rotating. It can be that way, or you can be swinging it that way if you want to swing it in or away. But once again, obviously it's great having skills, but make sure you try and hit a really good length.
Awesome. Right. Thank you very much. And so we've just got I'm going to give you a quick fire question round, just a kind of an option of 2 things related around cricket, just to finish us off for a bit of fun.
Yeah,
okay?
Cool. Sounds good.
So I might go for some game show music in the background just to add to the, because we love the atmosphere. Right. Here we go. Right. Graham, would you rather get a wicket bowled or a genuine edge to the keeper?
Or bowled every day of the week.
Batsman in knots, do you chirp up, give him the death stare, or play it cool?
Oh, chirp. I enjoy a good chirp. Yeah, definitely.
What's better to see? Now, you might be biased here. A tail ender come in and smash a few runs, or a batsman break a partnership with a filthy wicket?
Do I really answer that?
Yeah, I don't know why I asked that.
It's even better when a tail ender is back in the wind, slogging it out the park. It's nothing bad.
We all love to see that. And as a keeper, it gives me a little bit longer before I have to go out and keep, which always wins. Drinks break red or orange squash?
Red, blackcurrant all the time.
What's more village, shouting "dot ball's a good ball" after a full toss, or shouting "start again" when they get to 50?
Like spin the web or something like that. No damage. That's my biggest one. No damage, and it's just got before.
I was doing a school game. I thought I'd heard them all. And I was doing a school game a couple of years ago, and this 13-year-old said he's had more misses than Henry VIII, which I'd never heard before, and it tickled me. Right, what's more likely to make you throw your bat when you get in the changing room? A poor umpiring decision or pulling a half track at a deep square leg?
Oh, pulling a short ball straight. That's my fault. There's nothing you can do about the umpires.
Edge one through the slips for 4. Do you fist bump the other batsman or not?
Yeah, I'll give a little tap.
Yeah, fair.
Why not? I meant that. Open the face.
1 brings 2. Is it a myth or real?
It's real. It's real. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but I would say it's real. You've got the best opportunity to get a wicket when you've just got one. So make sure you're on the money straight away.
Fair. Lapping, is it always right for runs or does it not matter?
Honestly, I'm not superstitious in that kind of way. So I would generally go right for runs. But to be fair, I'd probably go right for wickets as well. So I'm not really bothered.
The Mankad, is it cowardly or a tactical piece of genius?
When I first saw that, I was like, that's wrong. It is wrong. And I probably still don't think it's right. But I like the way they've warned people now. So the one, like, if you do it again, then I'm going to run you out. Because slowly the game is certainly becoming... In fact, what am I saying? Well, I'm trying to be political here. The game is a batsman's game. So they shouldn't be stealing yards. Get a warning, and then you can run them out.
Awesome. All right, well, that's the 10 quick-fire questions. So thanks very much for joining me today, Graham. Really appreciate your insight. And I'm sure everyone else who's listening will do as well.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you very much.